Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the new Kershaw Covalent, both in carbon fiber and M390, and then also titanium and S35 VN. Did you notice here that this is a crossbar lock with a flipper? Not too many of those out there. SOG did it, and I think a couple other companies, but it usually just isn't the type of system that works well with a flipper tab. This works well. Kershaw did a really good job with this. Now, these, I'll have linked them. And I don't know if they're still available or truthfully, at the time of this recording, I assume that these will be at all retailers. But it's possible that Kershaw meant for these to initially be a website exclusive. So the appropriate links will be down in the description either way. But I know people are going to go look at those and they're going to go, oh my gosh, these are Kershaw's that are made in China. Kershaw has knives that are made in premium materials that are, from the USA that cost less. While that statement at the surface level is accurate, you would have to aggressively ignore the fact that we are looking at contoured and beautifully machined carbon fiber in this case, and contoured and beautifully machined titanium, which is not something that Kershaw typically offers with their USA stuff, and when they do, the price is quite a bit higher. Now, are the prices on these knives really worth it? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about in this video, because there really is a lot of good here. But I'll tell you guys exactly what I think. Thank you so much to Kershaw for supplying these knives for review. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Let's start off with the carbon fiber guy. This is the one that I wanted to carry, and the reason is because it's beautifully lightweight. I still played with the titanium one, it's fine, but we'll talk about balance here. This one is so beautifully balanced, it's so good. So this is the one that I actually carried and used. The overall measurement of the Covalent, it's not a huge knife, but it's far from a small knife either. So this is coming in at about 7.5. If you include the part of the pocket clip that sticks out, you could call it 7.65. I don't know why you'd include that. 3.25 inches for blade length, and maybe 3 1/8 for your cutting edge. Let's do some size comparisons. Any custom scales in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others. Up against the 8010 and the 8020.5, very, very similar to the 8020.5 in overall size, but the Covalent having more cutting edge and sacrificing a small amount of handle room. Let's put it up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. Kind of in between. I don't know. I guess it's slightly larger than the Para 3. It just has way, way more cutting edge. And then finally, we're going to put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian. And then this time, we're just going to put it up against the Bug Out. Right? I know everybody, compares everything to the Bug Out. It is similar. It's a profile that works. That's why the Benchmade Bug Out is so popular. But it's like I would say, hardly the first knife to be this before the Bug Out. The Bug Out just kind of took that crown and polished it up a bit, held it up, made sure that the sun was reflecting off of it perfectly, and then angled it directly into the faces of everybody in the general vicinity. Let's be real, that's what happened with the Bug Out. So anyways, how is the action? Boy, this is nice. It doesn't feel like something that should work. They're using nice high tension omega springs on this. So as soon as you overcome that initial, you could say this about any crossbar lock, truthfully, but I think the flipper works really well when you have high tension omega springs. As soon as you overcome the initial tension, when it springs back into place, it's essentially assisting the blade into deploying. So not quite as satisfying as breaking the detent ball on a liner lock or a frame lock or whatever, but a lot better than I would have expected. Honestly, as far as like flipper crossbar lock knives, I don't know if I've handled another one outside of that SOG. Was it the Terminus or whatever that was called? I can't remember. Maybe one more. I don't know. This feels better than all of them that I have handled. I think it's nice, and it also has that nice, super smooth action. It's fully ambidextrous. The pocket clip being able to flip over to the other side, tuck into a nice slot right here. I think they did this really well. The action feels great. I don't have any complaints. It's fine. Let's do carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It is not thick. It's very thin. In fact, up against the Bug Out, for those of you who care, it's only, I don't know, you could call that a lot thicker. I know these are aftermarket scales, but they're almost identical to the standard scales it comes with. You could call it that, but geez, And again, I know this is titanium. This still has that like lightweight, compact, thin knife feel without feeling like it's going to, like dissolve into powder in your hands. It doesn't feel cheap. If you don't like lightweight stuff, well then, they make the titanium one. I think that was a smart move, but even the lightweight one doesn't feel cheap. Let's go and do a hardware check. I'm going to get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. Sorry, I opened it upside down. I believe we have a T8 pivot, and then we have T8 body screws. Yeah, and we have a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of them's responsible for the pocket clip, but I feel like maybe we had one too many there. Wish that they were T8. None of this is a deal breaker, though, so that's fine. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. And yes, that pivot is captive. What a cool way to do the captive pivot there with the triangle. I like that. On the titanium one, it's anodized. It looks really, really nice. Same with the backspacer. Wish they'd done that for the pocket clip. I don't know why. I'm not sure why we're whispering, as if this is very personal, and we don't want to offend anybody. But anyways, I'm glad that they did that. I think that's cool. Okay, let's measure the blade stock thickness here because it's pretty darn thin. Blade stock thickness on this guy is coming in at very thin. It's going to be like 85 to 90. Oh my, no, it's a little thicker than I thought. A little thicker. I want to make sure we're getting it right on the flat there. 103 thousandths, so definitely thin. Hardware check. Oh, we need to weigh it, right? We got to weigh both of them. First off, the carbon fiber and M390 version. On, you fool. On. Wake up from your slumber, you lazy rectangle. 2.4 ounces. This is ultra lightweight to me. It's actually even lighter than I prefer. But the titanium one it's not heavy. It's just like I pick them both up and I'm like, geez. This is like the balance on this guy is a little back here. And the balance on this guy is like, oh, it's so perfect. And I've become such a stickler. Neither of them are heavy. And the balance doesn't really matter all that much. But I chose to carry this guy. So it's really, really lightweight at 2.4 ounces, but there is a significant difference between these two. It sounds silly, a 1.4 ounce difference, right? But it is. If you handle a lot of knives, you know that that's different, especially if you're used to carrying lighter weight knives. Okay, meat and potatoes time. They both look really cool. Truthfully, the two-tone always bothers me. I wish that they had not done the two-tone on either. But if I had to like switch things around, I would switch the two-tone blade to the titanium one, and I'd take the plain one and put it, on this guy. But okay, it's not that big of a deal. The carbon fiber looks beautiful. They did not opt for the flat, smooth, like the same thing that I complained about with the new Wii knife, that flat, cheap-looking carbon fiber. When you shape it like this, and yes, maybe you don't care, shaping these materials, the machines required to contour this stuff, the titanium, this is very costly. So even though I mentioned it right at the beginning of the video, multiple people are going to aggressively stomp right over what I pointed out, and they're going to say, you can get the Kershaw Bel Air in Magna Cut for, what is it, 160, 170? You can. But that's flat micarta, or I think they actually maybe have a nicer one than that, right? And that's a really, really good price. Now, we still don't know exactly how much of the knife Kershaw's actually making in the United States, enough to legally call it, right? But that's part of the reason why I think some of the U.S. Kershaw knives cost so much less than their competition. I think we can all agree that Benchmade's prices are out of whack, but if I was a betting man, I'd say substantially higher percentage of a Benchmade knife is actually made here, right? I think that really when we're looking at something like that from Kershaw and they're able to price it that low, it probably means that whatever they were legally able to outsource, they probably did. But again, I'm guessing. I have no idea. I wish Kershaw would tour their U.S. factory. I think that'd be really neat, right? But anyways, these have a higher quality build than something like the Bel Air, right? Or a lot of the aluminum, I said micarta. I think the Bel Air is actually aluminum. Now the carbon fiber, not much excuse there, but titanium is definitely more expensive to machine. Definitely, right? Talk to somebody. I know somebody's going to bring it up. And before we talk about who said, who told you it wasn't, I would ask somebody who knows. I would be very careful about where you get information You know, and I've always tried to be clear and let people know I don't do that stuff, so I'm not going to tell you, you know, exactly, you know, that I know or that I do. I'm not going to lie about it, right? But when you get into the nitty gritty, you get into like the specifics of what things cost, you should talk to somebody who actually does it with knives, right? Same way with heat treatment. We should look to people who have proper equipment, who do it all the time, right? So that's, I think, where I'm going to leave that subject. But just be careful, and I would say, you know, always read and see what other people think about the information that's being provided. But yeah, titanium to machine it like this is going to be substantially more expensive than just machining aluminum flat. So while the Bel Air is a very, very good buy, if you don't care about this extra stuff, right? We still have to acknowledge that doing something like this is going to be a little more expensive. Not so much with the carbon fiber. I mean, this is definitely like we typically don't see like USA Kershaw knives with this beautiful contoured carbon fiber. So it's not going to be nearly as expensive to do with something like this, right? But it is still definitely a higher quality overall item. Like the machining complexity is definitely overall higher quality than what we typically see for the same price Kershaw USA. That's not going to matter to everybody, but it's worth pointing out. But anyways, kind of got lost in the sauce there for a little bit. Ergonomically, ooh boy, it's nice. This area back here is a little thin because they decided to put the jimping on the swedge, which, okay, like it still works. You're just going to go, ooh, yikes. That's kind of a little bit of a saw blade there. Same way with this guy. It does feel good, though. Definitely. The edges are nicely knocked down. Carbon fiber looks and feels great. Fit and finish is excellent. It's like I've been saying for a couple of years now. Whatever Kershaw did to up their OEM game, like with their, you know, their Chinese stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they just switched their OEM, because these are awesome. They feel great. Same with their American stuff, right? But yeah, these are super duper nice. Pocket clip is pretty tight. It's nice and short, right? These are both, to my knowledge, I think I actually did this in the unboxing. But we have, yeah, a steel clip on both of them, which is fine. It would have been nice to have a titanium clip, but it's just a steel stamp clip. You can reverse it. You can use this area as a choke up spot. It's almost like a slide right into a saw blade, or right into a sharp edge, you know, so you need to be careful about that. You could, but I don't know. This is a little bit of a poke if you're going to really hold on to it. I noticed that breaking down a box once, right? These weren't taken out and like used super hard. I use them very casually before I review them. But choking up on this does kind of poke into your index finger, so you'll have to adjust to keep your to keep that from being rubbed raw. Overall, you know, the cutting geometry, nice and thin, feels really good. Kershaw does a good factory edge and a good heat treatment, to my knowledge, but I don't have the equipment to test, right? Just going off of what other people have reported. We have a flat that carries out about 45% the length of the blade. We have a nice wedge, nice tip, nothing we haven't seen before. A very, very classic knife profile, right? The titanium one, like I said, I like the texturing here. It's cool. It kind of reminds me of the Shirogorov like turtle look, kind of. It's neat. It does kind of look, I guess, kind of like a turtle shell. And it's nice, right? The only reason you're going to go for this one is if you really, really want it to be in titanium. Ambidextrous mounting positions for the pocket clip. Interesting backspacer. It's very long, and it's like they couldn't decide to go with like a backspacer that looked like this or like this, and they're like, just do both. That's fine. That's cool. You have a little lanyard hole back here. That'll work. That same kind of, it's not the same triangle. This is like a soft triangle. This is more of a Triforce triangle, right? But it does look neat. No blade play up, down, left or right. No stick. No pivot lash. It's okay, right? I mean, it's constantly working against the tension of the Omega Spring, so it's much smoother, obviously, if it doesn't have to work against that. But the action feels good, I guess. And then I don't remember checking the centering on these. Yeah, that looks good. And how about this one? Yeah, okay. I also appreciate that they put Kershaw back here, and well, no, I was going to say they kept it off the blade. They didn't. Guys, you put Kershaw on the clip and on the blade? Like, if you put it on the clip, take it off of the blade. That's silly. We don't need all this, and if you really have to have it on there, can you move it? Can it, like, be around here? That'd be cool. Not that big of a deal, though. So overall, yeah, these are great. I mean, it's a great design. It's definitely a profile we've seen before. I mean, the only extra special thing going on here is that it's a Kershaw. It's a Chinese Kershaw with a combination crossbar lock flipper tab that's just really, really high quality versus what we would typically see from Kershaw like 5 years ago. You know, they've really stepped it up. It's really, really nice. What are the prices? So they said that the sale price, and see, I'm recording this before these actually drop. Which is a benefit of being a reviewer, is I get to unbox and handle this stuff beforehand. Problem is I don't know exactly how they're going to end up looking at like retail sites like Blade HQ. So I don't know if the prices that they gave me were specials that were site exclusives, and then eventually you'll see them on Blade HQ and there'll be more money. I sure hope not, because that would be silly. So I'm going to assume that the prices they gave me were the actual street price. And they drop between March 4th and March 9th, and then we'll see them all over the place. I could be wrong, though. These could be website-only knives, and it's a one-time thing, and once they're gone, they're gone. That wouldn't make any sense to me at all. I would venture to guess these are regular production knives because that's how they look and feel. The price tag of the M390 version in carbon fiber is $169, and the price of the titanium and S35VN version is $179. So $170 and $180. Is that fair? Again, the general argument will be you can buy an American Kershaw that's really high quality for less, and you can. So if you don't care about, you know, the extra complexity in the machining, because these are definitely like listen, if they built the Bel Air exactly like this, just in aluminum, but they contoured it and you had that extra polishing and that extra stuff that you can see it and feel it with some of these Chinese Kershaws. You can bet your booty that Bel Air would cost more money. Definitely. Part of the reason that they're able to get it down to that price is because it's an incredibly simple construction. It's much simpler in terms of machining costs, right? So there's a lot more that goes into it than just basic machining costs, but yeah. Some people don't care about that. And if you don't care, and especially if you're like, oh, I only want to buy USA, well, Kershaw is one of your best bets for sure. So direct competition here, I mean, for a Chinese titanium and S35VN knife, for example, $180, especially considering you're getting contouring, is actually super competitive. Super, right? So if we broaden what we're looking at and accept what we're looking at here, I think the titanium one is the one that really stands out. I really wish that they had just made them both. Well, S35VN, truthfully, is a preferable steel to me. I don't really need the... M390 traditionally is a pretty frustrating steel to maintain, so I like S35VN better. I'll admit, though, an M390 is a more costly steel, so sometimes it checks more boxes for people like looking to get certain materials under certain prices. If you compare to other Chinese production companies putting out knives in, S35VN, M390, S90V, Magna Cut, whatever, right? Typically, these builds are 200 plus, so we're pretty good there. And even this one's not looking bad. I mean, we're in kind of like nice Kaiser territory. Pretty good. So I just feel like comparing directly with Kershaw's American line it can make sense for some people, but not for everybody. Here's what I'll say. I think the titanium one's fine. I wish that they had priced the carbon fiber one less. I really feel like that's the one that's bumped up, and it's a shame because that's the one that I really was like, wow, this is nice. Like, nice balance. I think I may have spit on it, sorry. I wish that this one had ended up being like 150, 150, 180. That felt a little bit better. But I feel like no matter what, people are going to compare it to the Bel Air, and it's just, I don't think that that's a realistic comparison. Overall, this is a really nice knife, and genuinely, I do recommend this. I just feel like the carbon fiber one's just a little bit too high of a price tag. But yeah, I think this is nice, and I think if you pick it up, you'll love it. Don't expect anything, to blow your socks off. It's not the most unique new thing that I've ever seen, but it is good, and I think the price is anywhere from to pretty good. That titanium one, the price on that. It's a shame about the balance. I think the reason I'm hung up on the balance because I'm holding them both. Had they just sent me this, I'd have been like, wow, So pretty good. Okay, that's going to be it today, guys. please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.